Hello everyone and welcome to the Minnesota Farmers Market Association Fall Conference. I'm Jesse Davis. I'm the Program and Outreach Coordinator. I was hired in June to help Deanna Boschka with the myriad of different projects that we've got going on here at the Minnesota Farmers Market Association. We were pretty sad to see Deanna go. We certainly understand. She's got a growing family business, but we're really excited to have Kathy on. Kathy Zeman's been doing a great job, and she's really going to open a new chapter for the MFMA this year. So, Kathy, cheers. Anyway, I wanted to talk about some of the special programs that are part of my Program and Outreach Director job. And I have special experience with this because I was one of the folks that helped with one of the programs that the Minnesota Farmers Market Association enabled last year, and that was the SNAP and EBT program. I'm a vendor at the Grand Rapids Farmers Market up here in Grand Rapids. That's why I'm dressed the way I am. I don't know if you can, well, you can't see the snow outside, but it's there and it's cold. And this year we implemented SNAP, EBT, as well as credit and debit card acceptance through grants coordinated by the Minnesota Farmers Market Association. We couldn't have done it without the MFMA. We also had a bumper year with close to $8,000 in sales for our small town, with over $1,000 of matching market bucks from Blue Cross Blue Shield, which also really helped make this possible. It's just another example of the way that small, medium, and large markets can all benefit from working with us here at the MFMA. Now, going into 2013, we've got some other really exciting programs. The first one is the Market Manual Revision and Market Manager Certification course. Now, through a grant through the Minnesota Department of Agriculture, we're updating our market manual. This was printed out in 2006, and you've got hundreds and hundreds of pages of tips, bylaws, legal definitions, marketing incentives, all sorts of things. And a lot of this is going to stay the same. A lot of it's going to change, though, especially when you take into facts of growing markets, competition in urban areas, conflict resolution, and especially SNAP and EBT. Now, what the unique part of revising this is going to be is that we're going to be offering an online tutorial that is going to train and certify market managers as well as train vendors the ins and outs, the ups and downs of running a farmer's market successfully and legally. A lot of times, because we're a loosely organized group of folks, we kind of maybe slip a little bit under the radar. We kind of don't know the full rules, and we go with that old adage, ignorance is bliss. But the more that farmers markets gain in popularity, and certainly the more that we start using EBT SNAP funds, we're really going to have to play things by the book. And there's a lot of things that can make our markets more successful. So we will be implementing this program throughout the winter. This is going to be a Moodle-based program. If anyone is familiar with online course training, this is a open source training site that will allow tests, questions and answers, embedded video, and at the end, an actual certificate that will certify you as having passed the course. Now, other places in New York, California, Wyoming, Michigan offer different programs like this, but so far, no one actually offers an online certification. And when you consider the state of Minnesota with folks from International Falls all the way down to Albert Lea, we got a big area to cover. And online, whether you like online classes or not, really makes the most sense. Well, I don't know if your small farm is anything like mine, but over the winter we get big dreams and the summer comes, and so does Mother Nature, and we've got a lot of tough things to deal with. We're here in an old 100-year-old barn built out of tamarack, white pine, and oak by a stubborn old Finnish guy. And you can kind of see behind my summer dream of getting it all fixed up. Well, it didn't happen. But we got the roof parts on, we got the loft up, not falling through yet. But it just kind of shows that sometimes things take a little bit more time. This farmers market certification program, we're a little far behind. We're waiting for information coming from all sorts of different diverse folks from across the state. But this is something that's going to be happening over the winter with me at the helm. And I would sure like you to contact me with any comments, questions, or concerns. My email is jdavis, D-A-V-I-S, @mfma.org. Or you feel free to call me, 218-259-9675. Whole reason I'm filming this, I'm flying out of the country. By the time you see this, I will be a lot closer to the equator, where I work as a waiter so I can afford to be a small potatoes farmer. It's going to be my last year for it, but I'll actually have more time to work for you and the Farmers Market Association. Now, a really unique program that we have going on beginning in November from the USDA and the Minnesota Department of Agriculture is a grant for sampling at farmers markets. And this has been a real sticky wicket for different farmers markets staying within the law, because you've got so many different things that you need to have: hand washing stations, NSF certified sinks and things like that. And hopefully by the time you've seen this, you've been able to ask the representatives from the Minnesota Department of Agriculture, Department of Health, Minnesota Grown, and others about the ins and outs of this. But this sampling grant is going to be helping us all to make it happen at the farmers market, because I think everyone watching this would agree, when you get the actual produce turned into something to eat, you've got it sold. Now, this farmers market grant is going to focus on teaching people what to do with produce. In this day and age where everything's packaged and produced and pre-made, a lot of us don't know what to do with a kohlrabi or an eggplant or even cucumbers for that point. And so this is going to not only work with recipe cards, but it's also going to work with ways to do this within the legal confines. And it needs input from you as well. We need to know, we've got an outline, what we'd like to do, X amount for this market. We're thinking $1,200, $1,500 grants for each market, with breakdowns: $500 for a hand washing station, $300 for recipe cards. And of course, I'm throwing this off the top of my head. I don't have this right in front of me. But we need to tailor this to your market. We need to know what you need. Do you want to help us take part with a roll off the trailer hand washing station, prep sink, and cutting board sort of a setup? Or do you just want a little bit of legal advice? We need to hear from you, and we need to know what's going to work best for your market. We've got the funds going, but just like the rest of the grants, we're here to help you implement those grants. Going back to what I started off with earlier, EBT, there are going to be some changes with that this year. Our grant that paid for the $131 in fees for each month for the participating markets, as well as other things, is set to expire. Now, we still expect to have wonderful continued support from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota. Thank you. Thank you very much, Blue Cross Blue Shield. You've really helped with your marketing materials and your Market Bucks incentive program. But we want to be here one-on-one for you to answer your questions, to help you with marketing, because I know that without the MFMA, we wouldn't have had the success here in Grand Rapids. And we've learned there's a lot of grassroots ways that you can promote EBT. And not only does EBT help folks who are struggling to put food on the table to come into your farmer's market, but it creates a great sense of community goodwill, and it gets a lot of external volunteers. We were able to get one of the state banks up here to give us an intern to man the booth during the summer months, which was a great help and a great co-branding opportunity as well. So please remember, aside from our specific programs and our specific grants, we're here one-on-one to work with you and help your farm and your farmer's market become more successful and more viable in your local community. So again, please feel free to contact us, and have a great growing season in 2013.